Evening, everybody. Thanks very much for joining us tonight for the under 12 and 13 late goal games hurling presentation for the hurling. First of all, my name is Phil Campen, hurling GDA with Wicklow. I also have Conor Daly, who's a GPO with St Patrick's, and Carnew in the background, and I also have Paul Garnian, who's over to coach education, on the call with me tonight. First of all, look, it is a webinar and we're dealing with kind of technology, and some of you may be aware that there is glitches that may occur. So if you are experiencing any problems, we just recommend that you log out and log back in, and hopefully that should solve them. Just to let you know, the video will be, or the presentation will be recorded. If you do have any questions throughout the presentation, please do put them in the chat box and Conor relay them across to me. And I'll have a bit of time at the end for the questions. Basically, tonight is going to be all about the TURAS, and the main aim behind TURAS is to support you, the coach, on your journey as you go to start coaching within your club. First of all, I just want to get you to take maybe 15-20 seconds, and I just want to want you to think about your motivation for coming on the webinar, what you want to get out of this webinar, and if you have a piece of paper, a notebook writing handy, just write down a couple of things that you want to get out of this webinar. We can see, can we answer those by the end of the session. So just take maybe 15-20 seconds just to think of a few reasons for being on the webinar tonight. So again, this is going to be aimed at under 12 and under 13 hurling. Again, it's to help the coaches understand how to deliver age appropriate activities for the 12 and 13-year-olds that we'll be dealing with, or that you will be dealing with within your clubs throughout the year. So tonight's outcomes, or tonight's aims, are just to look at maybe explaining the player pathway, look at the TURAS principles and how they can help you as a coach both on the pitch and off the pitch, look at the total playing performance model, and then look at the coaching resources. So the TURAS principles will be all about how we coach, and then the total playing performance model will be all about what to coach and when to coach it. And then at the end of it, we hope to give you plenty of resources that you'll be able to use throughout the year, between session plans, maybe other different links to things that will be updated throughout the year. We'll talk about then is the player pathway. This is a stage approach that maps the player's journey. It's a guide for coaches to deliver what is needed and when it's needed, and a clear understanding of where a player currently is and where they are heading. And again, if you look at the diagram there on the right hand side of your screen, you'll see that we have different stages as the player gets older. So you can see there they start off maybe at 3, 4, 5, whatever ages you start the nurseries at in your clubs. That's probably where they first come in. They start looking at their ABCs, their RTJs, and then you're looking at the catching and throwing and various little aspects of that, all basic movements of the game. Then they move on to kind of their under 7s, and then they'll be talking about looking at maybe the basics of holding the hurl right, which hand goes where. Then you're moving on to under 9s, which is going to be looking at kind of more game. You're looking at maybe some of your positional senses. You're looking at a further number of skills. Then we're moving on to 10s and 11s, and then we move on to where we are ourselves, which is the 13s, 12s and 13s. Sorry. Again, we like to think of this as a staged approach. So basically, think of it as a journey. Each player is on a journey. They're traveling from starting off at the child age, moving to the youth age, and then into adult age. And each age group is a stop. And each time they get off that stop, they're looking to improve their own skills and knowledge of the game. And it's our job as coaches to ensure that we prepare them to get back on the bus and travel to the next stage of their journey. So again, each stage indicates different aspects that each player should understand. So that in a nutshell is basically the player pathway. Then we have to look at how do we coach. To do that, we've come up with, or Leinster have come up with the Taurus Initiative, and each letter of TURAS stands for various different principles. These principles are as follows. There are testing and challenging, and all players should be challenged. So that's what our T is for, that you're looking at all your sessions, you're testing that player and giving them a challenge throughout the session of the game. You have to make sure that you, the coach, understands the player at the centre of the game. You understand their ability, what they need to improve on, or what you should be focusing at that age group. Then we have to make sure we resemble the game, because at the end of the day, they're going to have to play games, whether it be through counter fixtures, through training games, or through your own maybe challenge matches that you develop throughout the year. And it's important that we replicate our trainings to resemble the game. Then you have to make sure we have all the players involved all the time. There's nothing going to be worse than a player going down to a hurling pitch and then just realising that they're only involved for half a session. They're quickly going to kind of get fed up with, or they'll get annoyed that they're not involved in it all, and eventually over time they're going to end up falling away from the hurling scene. Then our last one is should always be enjoyable. So no matter what you're doing as a coach, you should make sure that your session is always going to be enjoyable. You're going to give that child another reason to come back down to the pitch, and also it should be developmentally appropriate and an holistic GA experience. So again, in a nutshell, that's all about making sure that it's appropriate for that age group. And I suppose it's hard to kind of see these without seeing it in practice. So what I'm going to do in a couple of seconds is I'm going to play a video maybe twice, and I'm going to get you to think of these principles in practice and see can you note them or see if they're present in the video. But first of all, we like to use this as a guide or a review if we get to a session where we go out to work with you in the clubs ourselves. We're going to help you improve in certain areas such as testing and challenging. So we're looking to make sure that all players are recognised for their effort more than outcome, and they're encouraging players to try things. Again, underneath that heading, then you're kind of looking at, are the players engaged in the task, or are they distracted? So are they looking at something else and thinking that's more fun than where they are at the minute? So again, it's all down to us to make sure that they're enjoying their time while they're in that pitch. Do you set targets during the activities for players? Are they individual? Are they group targets? These are all the kind of stuff that you'll be looking at. Understands the players at the centre of the game. So again, did you use the different conditions? How did you decide your pairings? Did you try to engage with one or more players? Then you have to make sure that it resembles a game or part of the game that your activities seek to develop. So to ensure that the kids know what you're trying to develop. Were the players motivated to complete the activity? Did you communicate to the players why they were doing the activity? And then obviously we're going to look at the other principles, which are all the players are involved, and you're looking at how many players were involved, was there lines, was there people left out, and then we're looking to see would it be enjoyable. So that's basically looking at the kids themselves and seeing, are they enjoying the session, are they giving out, do they find it too hard, is there a smile on their face, are they finding it too easy even. So again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play this drill. It's only a drill that you'd find on the activity planner. But as you can see, I put the TURAS principles down the left-hand side. I shortened them a small bit. But I want to see, can you make just a small note of the various different principles? I'll play it twice for you, but to look and make sure that, is the drill testing and challenging for all the players? Does it understand the players that they're dealing with? Is it going to resemble the game? Are all the players involved and should be enjoyable or developmentally improvable? So is it enjoyable to them, and are they actually developing in it? So again, I'll play it I'll play it twice for you just to give you a chance. So
this gameplay drill to practice the frontal block technique requires the tackling player to perform the block on an opponent striking for a point. Place a cone approximately 13 metres from the end line either side of the goal area. The players line up in pairs on the end line on one side of the goals. Player A in each pair runs forward with the ball to the cone, followed by player B. Player A turns around the cone to strike the ball on the inside for a point. Player B attempts to block. If the ball goes over the bar, or if there is a successful block, a point is awarded. The players then line up on the end line on the other side of the goal area and repeat the drill. Reverse the roles of the players after every second go.
Thank you. So we're just going to play it one last time, and again, just try and refocus and seeing those TURAS principles in play. If they're in play, what ones are lacking, and we'll run through them maybe just in the next slide. So I'll just play it one last time for you guys.
This gameplay drill to practice the frontal block technique requires the tackling player to perform the block on an opponent striking for a point. Place a cone approximately 13 metres from the end line either side of the goal area. The players line up in pairs on the end line on one side of the goals. Player A in each pair runs forward with the ball to the cone, followed by player B. Player A turns around the cone to strike the ball on the inside for a point. Player B attempts to block. If the ball goes over the bar, or if there is a successful block, a point is awarded. The players then line up on the end line on the other side of the goal area and repeat the drill. Reverse the roles of the players after every second go.
Perfect. That's just a small little video. I know it can be stoppy and starty a small bit just with the internet and stuff, but hopefully we got the gist of the TURAS principles being in play, and we're just going to run through those just very quickly now. So basically, if we look at that and see it was a testing and challenging, yes, it was. Each player was being tested to try to perform both the block and the strike, but also while on the run, and they also had to strike both off left and right, depending on what side of the goal they're at. So again, it's testing them in a number of areas, number of skills, and also movements, which is what we want to see in our teams. Did it understand the players at the centre of the game? Yes. The coach understands this is one of the key skills that players will use at this age, and it's practiced in a fun manner. So again, it's not just setting up a drill 1v1 or 2v2 and practicing the block. He's after using a various different number of skills in the one drill, and it's also giving a challenge to each of the players. Does it resemble the game? Yeah, it resembles the forward attempting a shot and the back defending the goal, just like you'd have in any game, both back and the forward scenario. Are all the players involved? All the players are involved, but again, this is one area that they probably could improve on. It could be done better. Instead of having a group on one side, you could have one on each side of the goal to make sure that there's less waiting around and less numbers in the lines. Then, was it enjoyable? Yes. Well, we don't really know, do we? Because we can't really see it. But it was developmentally appropriate, because again, the earlier you get them practicing the hook or the block, the quicker they're going to grasp it. So again, that's just kind of TURAS in practice in a drill, because obviously we can't do any kind of practical stuff. So that's just kind of to get you through TURAS. Again, how do you use this? You can use this either before your session or after your session. If you're using it before your session, you're kind of thinking, is it testing? Is it challenging? Do you understand them? Does it resemble? How many players are involved? Would it be enjoyable? But then also you can use that as a review tool. So if you sat down and said you've done a session last week with your under 12s and 13s, you can look back and see how well it went in relating to TURAS. So you have to look at yourself and see, was the drill that I done there at the start of the game, at the start of the session, was it testing and challenging? Was TURAS present in all of them? So again, it's a nice way to use a review tool, and also a nice way to use it as a planning tool. Perfect. So again, I'm going to give you about 20-30 seconds. I want you just to think yourselves. You don't have to throw it into the chat or anything, but I want you to think of what can you as a coach develop in your players. So when we're down the pitches, we have them for that hour during the week. What can we do with those, and what can we develop with those players? So just take maybe 20 seconds, just to have a quick think about it. Maybe try and get away from skills on their own and look at kind of other areas that we might be able to develop. So maybe just give you 10 more seconds there just to think that through. Again, there's a number of different things that we as coaches can develop in our players, and that's all going to relate back to our total playing performance model. And again, this is all about what we should be coaching to our under 12 and under 13 players. This is made up basically of what we like to call the 3 T's and the 3 P's. The 3 T's are technical proficiency, tactical prowess, team play. And then if we look at our 3 P's, there are physical fitness, participant feedback, and psychological focus. Again, we're going to run through each of these and break them down into a definition that has been supplied by the GAA themselves, and maybe look at what's involved in each of the aspects. So the first one that we're going to look at is our technical proficiency, and this is the ability to perform an underlying techniques accurately, consistently, and at match tempo. So in a nutshell, that's going to be relating back to your striking, your handling of the ball, your ball control, your tackle, the hook like we looked at in that video, and also the block. So they're basically the skills of the game and their ability to perform those at match tempo. Then we're going to look at our tactical prowess. So this is the ability to weigh up match situation and decide on the best option to take and when to take it in order to optimize time, space, and scores or minimize these. So again, that's just basically going to look at encouraging players to move into space to receive a pass, how to work as a team, using conditioning games to get a sense of possession, attacking, defending, so maybe transitioning from your attack to your defense to attack, maybe just even how to work as a team to move, to create that space or to create an option for a pass. So that's what we kind of look at when we talk about tactical prowess. Even though it is a big, long, kind of wordy definition, that's what it's like in practice. Then we move on to our team play, and that's the ability to anticipate movements, see other players, and call for the ball. So again, this is kind of done through working in zones, modified roles, or maybe getting 2v1, 3v2, stuff like that, small-sided games, working on closing space and making space. So, excuse me, again, you're looking at your zones and closing down that space. If the ball goes into that zone, that should be seen as a threat. Getting them used to when defending should become a priority, and also encouraging each other on the pitch. Our physical fitness then is the ability to perform basic techniques, engage in physical contests, and respond to signs, sounds, and signals experienced during the game with the least possible expenditure of energy. Again, this is not just about going down and running lengths of the pitch or anything like that. This is looking at maintaining the ABCs, so that's your ability, your balance, your coordination, making sure they're still able to do these even though they should have learned these at nursery level and previous age groups, but it's important to make sure that we maintain their ability or their agility, their balance and coordinations, and also looking at their running, their throwing and their catching. This can be our body weight exercises, again, which can be seen through various different platforms on GEA resources. And then running, when we talk about running, it's not again talking about running the length of the pitch and stuff like that. It's simple things as taking off for running, stopping and running, moving left, moving right while running. That all comes under our physical fitness. Then we have to look at our participant feedback. Again, vital from a coach. Participant feedback is a two-way communication process which allows for ongoing adjustments to be made in order to capitalize on strengths, minimize limitations, and maintain continuous improvement. Again, a lengthy definition. Again, this is looking at the outcomes. So whether it's going well during a drill, during a game, you'll know by player emotions, if they're frustrated, if they're giving out, if they're happy, if they're smiling. And then you look at verbal. Obviously, they'll let you know some of them at that age if they like it or not. And then mirroring. Mirroring is relating back to kind of copying what maybe an inter-county started on the weekend by scoring that goal or stuff like that. So that's kind of just our participant feedback. Then we have our psychological focus. Again, this is the ability to maintain attention on the here and now by minimizing disruptions from within and without. An example of that then is questioning. So again, this is checking for understanding with your players. Did you understand why you might have been working on that skill in particular, why you done that game in particular, and why they might be used. So again, it's just relating it back to the training and why it's been done. That can be done into what is maybe one of our first of our resources, which is the player pathway card for the age 12 to 13. Again, you can see there in the center we have our psychological focus, which we went through. We have that held up at the bottom in yellow, which is our participant feedback. We have our technical skills, which are further broken down into your striking, and then that's kind of giving you an example strike from hand. We're hoping that you should be able to do it from 30 to 35 metres. And the ground strike, not forgetting the ground strike, and also being able to strike on both sides. We look at our handling. Again, in that is our hand pass. We have the 3 types of catch, which is our catch low, chest, and high. We also have our ball control, which is looking at our solo. Then we're looking at our ground flip to space, and then we're looking at our tackle. Just want to exit for a second because we're just at, yep. And then we're looking at our tackle, which are our hook, our block, our frontal block, and to recover possession, so maybe protect the possession when you lose it. Our tactical prowess then, if we break it down further from what we were talking about earlier on, is our decision making. Play conditioned games to create pressure on players' decision making, so maybe 2v1, stuff like that. Maybe you might be looking at backspeed of forwards, activities focused on building skills to gain and maintain possession of the ball, learning to work as a team environment. Individual decisions now have more impact on the team outcome. So again, if one guy is deciding to shoot all the time, but he's only scoring 2 and he's had 12 shots, again, that's going to impact on the team morale. It's going to impact on the team score. So getting used to working as a team. Then if we touch back on our physical fitness, then you can see it's all body weight, resistance exercises. That's performed through fun games, according to push, pull, squat, lunge, moving patterns. You're looking at maybe animal movements. All those are body weight exercise and worth their weight in gold. Then the likes of evasion, which can be done maybe at the start of a session just as a fun game. The likes of you're stuck in the mud. Even a simple tag game is getting them used to stepping left, stepping right. Like they would in the game, having to get past the defender or get to a player. And then obviously running, which is, again, we touched on there, you're challenging the players to stop suddenly, so they're not a foreign concept to them. They're able to do it naturally without even hurting themselves. And then obviously our team play there, which is encouraging the support teammates vocally, work on team's ability to create space, which we said earlier on, and work on team's ability to make space when not in possession, so basically are defending. So that's basically the total playing performance model in a wheel, with a lot more detail on and guidance on what we should be covering and different aspects of that. But then there's 4 different aspects out on the outside, which you, the coach, are probably in control of 90% of it. From the coach's point of view, then you have to get to know your players individually. So maybe their position, what position they like the most, what side they hit the ball on, making sure even as a simple thing that you know all their names. You have to be well organised and plan sessions. So there's no point in having a session maybe at 7:30, getting out of the car at 25 past, not knowing what you're going to do. Players arriving in the gate, you're not set up. Quickly players are going to kind of look and be saying, well, this lad doesn't really know what he's doing. We're coming down at 7:30. There's nothing happening. There's nothing to be done. So make sure you're organised and you have your sessions planned. Try use game-based coaching as much as you can. Avoid the lines or drills. I know there's some skills where you will have to do drills, and there's not much you can do that, but try set individual goals as best you can. The more individual goals you set, the more you're going to improve that player, and each player, as we know, develops differently. Set individual skill challenges to do away from the field, so give them a small bit of homework going away from the pitch. So if you know Johnny down there is poor at striking off the left side, set him a challenge to get X number done over X number of days. Stuff like that will greatly improve your players. Then if you just look at the bottom left, we have the player. They begin to see a relationship between effort and outcome. So the more they put into it, the better their outcomes are going to be. Potential changes in maturation rates due to change in school environment. So again, different players develop at different rates, both physically and ability-wise. So it's making sure that we are able to cater for those needs. Become very self-conscious in front of a group. So again, if you're asking them to do something in front of a group, they may not be comfortable with that. So just be wary of that. Lack confidence may be a barrier to development. So again, it's all about getting them out of their shell, getting them more confident on that ball. The environment, again, which is something that the coach can have a great impact on, is then you want to make sure that fun is number 1 priority. Yes, they are 12 and 13-year-olds. Yes, they like to play a game, but at the end of the day, they like to have a bit of fun when they come down and see their friends in the pitch. The coach-player ratio then is going to be 1 to 10. So every 10 players you have, we'd be looking to have 1 coach with them. We'd be looking for at least 1 ball every 2 players. Ideally, if you had a ball per player, would be a great benefit for every team and club. Players' development takes priority over results. So again, we touched on it earlier on about they are there, they want to play games, they want to win. But at the end of the day, your main focus as a coach should be to develop those players in the best possible way to ensure that they are ready for their next under 14 and 15 stages. And then obviously we said it earlier on, which is fun and enjoyment, are a major element. Then at the bottom right, the game. Look, the more small-sided stuff you're going to do, the more benefit they're going to get out of it, the more touches they're going to get out of it, the more time they're going to have to practice their skills, the likes of the 5v5, 7v7s, even like I mentioned earlier on, doing 9v8 and stuff like that. Again, it's the size for a slither, continue to allow players to explore all positions. So if someone wants to try a position at some stage, why not let them off? They might have been playing the backs, put them up to the forwards. I know, look, through my playing career in 27 at the minute, I've played in nearly every position of the pitch. And again, it's done no harm. I'll be comfortable enough to play in every position, so why not do the same for our younger kids, give them that confidence to be able to play in every position if needed. All players experience game time and matches, so again, don't just have one person playing the one game or something like that. Try vary it as much as you can. Bring in a rule, everyone gets 30 minutes. Something like that. If you're playing a challenge match, why not do 20 minutes and stuff? Get everyone equal playing time. Don't have the same person starting off the sub either. They'll quickly become apparent as to the pattern that's happening. And then limit plays in the ball and coaching session. So obviously, the less plays that one person is getting, the more chances everyone else has of getting a touch. So again, look, this is the first resource as such, and we'll get a copy of this out to everyone later on. On the back of this card then, which we'll dive into a bit more, is our sample session. So again, you can see our TURAS principles are listed down the left-hand side, just to give you a reminder. Then this one is going to follow basically a warm-up activity. Then it's going into kind of a drill, and it's going to take that kind of pattern throughout until it gets to the bottom, which is going to be a game itself. Again, look, I'm not going to read through all of these. You can have a bit of time to read through it yourselves. You might pick out something that I might miss. And again, this is for basically the 12 and 13-year-old. On top of that then, GEA 15 is a great GEA-specific warm-up. Develop both hurling and football. The aim is to replicate and copy any movements that happen in GEA. Main aim is to activate all major muscle groups and joints and help reduce the likelihood of injuries. Again, I'll give you the link to that. You'll be able to go through it yourselves and see maybe what areas you can use in the pitch yourselves. Then we have the activity planner. Again, you probably are all familiar with this. This can be tailored then through hurling, football, handball, and rounders. You can use the tabs down the left-hand side then to tailor to the age group. Obviously, we'll be looking at 12 and 13 for everyone that's on this webinar. And then you can choose kind of if you want to have a basic, intermediate, advanced drill. You can have a fun routine, condition game, all stuff like that. The best thing about that is if you see in the top right-hand corner, you can see where sessions is. When you create your profile or you register within the GEA activity planner, you'll be able to create sessions, print them off, add notes, and use them down the pitch, or even have a quick glance at them on your phone before you go onto the pitch and see what you're going to be using. Again, it's a great resource. There's about 2,000 different activities on it. Guarantee you'll still even use some of the stuff from the younger age groups as warm-ups and stuff like that. So again, great opportunity if you had a bit of time to have a look in there and go through as many of the different aspects as you possibly can. Next one then is going to be kind of the Leinster GEA coaching resources. There's 2 resources within this, and those links will be sent to you later on. Within this, you'll have child resources, youth resources, and adult resources. Again, if you go into the youth resources, you'll have the likes of GEA 15 and various different aspects. You'll have the child resources, which are kind of more for the younger age group, but can be tailored and used for the likes of a 12 and 13-year-old. Adult stuff, we'll be staying away from that because, again, we'll have to make sure we're making our sessions developmentally appropriate for that age group. On the right-hand side then is going to be the link to kind of the player pathway cards that we went through earlier on with the total playing performance model in it. different skills that should be focused on each age group, and within that you'll see the ones that should be kind of focused on before you. You'll have the youth resource age 14 to 17. There's 6 sessions in that for each age group. So for anyone that does go on to 7 or to 14 or 15, they're there also. You can probably also change some of the aspects in that to suit your 12 and 13-year-olds. Again, you have the child hurling resources age 7 to 13. At the latter end of that, again, there's 6 sessions. One includes a wall ball. You can look at those for sessions that you might be able to use throughout the year. The camp activities there, you can see again age 6 to 13. They'll have various different games, challenges, skill aspects in it that were used throughout the session. And there's also a primary school resource and a wet day resource on it that you can have a look at throughout yourself. So there's 6 different resources under the Taurus hurling resources, and obviously there's an abundance of stuff on the other options. So again, you get a copy of that sent out to you, or a link to all those resources. Then the next thing, which is a relatively new thing that we've launched here with Wicklow Coaching Games Development, that's our YouTube page. Within that YouTube, we'll be asking everyone maybe to subscribe to it. It is free of charge. And again, on that, you can see that we focus kind of on our primary school activities there throughout lockdown. There'll be various different videos going up. The S&C videos will start going up on that, both hurling and football. And this is going to be a constant source of information and a constant resource for you to coach. And hopefully that'll be added to every week if we possibly can. So again, I'll attach the link to this so you can go straight to it. Hit that subscribe button and you can look at some of the videos on that one. Again, look, another part of the TURAS, please God, we get this started this year again. All going well, is that look, myself or any of the GPOs that are working within clubs will try to attend two of the visits to the club. For these visits, then we're going to look at assisting a coach throughout a session. So we're not coming out to necessarily take the full session. We'll come out, take part of the session, give them a hand and a small bit of feedback at the end of it. For the second session, then we might come out and purely be working with the coach themselves, and we might just be there to let them take lead, and we'll kind of give them a bit of feedback on it at the end. So again, look, it's about developing you, the coach, to make sure that we're making better coaches in turn, which will improve our players and make our clubs a lot better. So that's kind of the TURAS model again, and then that will kind of bring us up to the end of our presentation. So if there's anyone with any questions, if you want to throw them into the chat box there, Connor will get them across to me, and hopefully you've all got something. So maybe if you just take a quick look at what we got you to write down at the start, or think about the start as what your motivation was for coming onto the webinar, and hopefully if we didn't answer it, you might pop a question into us and we'll try to get to the bottom of it for you. Also, over the coming weeks and months and stuff like that, just keep an eye out on the likes of our Facebook pages for any skills, activities that we may be putting up just to help people out at home while the activity is kind of limited from off the pitch. So I think that's kind of everything on my side, Connor.